breaking those limits in your mind and saying, I can really do anything. Like, this seems impossible. People tell me it's impossible. Maybe 1 out of 100 people have ever even done a 72-hour fast. So that you do it, you see, wow, this is something I'm capable of, and was probably very regular hundreds or thousands of years ago when people didn't have food so available, or they did it for spiritual or meditational reasons or whatever.
Yeah, I have done as long as 21 days, 3 different times. And I only started extended fasting when I was writing a book about it with Dr. Jason Fung, The Complete Guide to Fasting, is the only reason I did those. I just wanted to know what it felt like to go that long. I don't think you need to go that long to get the benefits. You could probably get most of those same benefits in, like you said, like a 3 to even up to 7 day fast. Then you get to fast again. And the cool thing I love about your 72-hour challenge is you do 72 hours. All right, you can turn right back around in a few weeks and do another 72-hour. But if you do 21 days, you kind of have to take some time off before you fast again. So, because you do still need nutrition.
Yeah, and it can be a little bit of a transition, even at the 3 days, like just getting back to your gut activity working correctly with, enzymatically, and, because you've been giving yourself gut rest, which can be amazing too, especially if your gut's been a leaky gut, a dysbiotic gut.
Yes.
You've had inflammation in your gut. That break can be incredible for just gut health. But at the same time, whenever you start back eating, you need to start slowly. And we recommend doing bone broth at first, and then a light meal, maybe a couple hours later, of something like eggs, and then eventually working into more full meals.
Yeah, that was the shocking thing to me when I went to break my long fast. You don't want to go too fast with the food, but really your body won't let you. I remember having that little bit of food to kind of get the blood flowing back to the stomach again. And then I made my regular meal, and I only was able to eat about a third of it, Shawn, before my body went, nope, you're done. And then the odd thing was, you would think the next day I would be ravenous and I would want to eat. I wanted to keep fasting. It was the weirdest feeling in the world. People, they don't believe me when I tell them this, that when you break a fast and then the next day you don't want to eat again, it's so natural. I think your body gets used to it.
Yeah, well, the stomach shrinks, and you do get this effect where there's this elastic effect in the stomach that when it stretches, you feel full. And so that when your stomach is smaller and you get some food in it, and it actually stretches the stomach at its smaller size, you feel full at that smaller size.
Right.
So, that's where I don't know if those competitive eaters, they actually kind of
oh yeah,
fill up their stomach for days and days and days with water first, so that they can kind of stretch out their stomach so they can end up eating more. They have more capacity to eat and not feel full. So this is kind of the reverse of that.
Absolutely. Yeah, the Nathan's hot dog eating contest, that guy keeps winning every single year. And what's funny is the girls are like little tiny things, and they can just stuff down all that because they've stretched their stomach. It's amazing. Well, let's get into another biohack. Red light therapy, I don't think gets talked about enough, and you could throw in sunshine therapy as well. Talk about some of the benefits of that.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. I think there's a massive future in what's called photobiomodulation.
Yep.
And all of these different lights. It's also, you can look up chromotherapy with just the healing power of light. And there's so many different wavelengths that we're trying to understand now. Just like I was talking about blue light before, you don't want it in the evening, right? Because it blocks melatonin release. So not looking at these TVs and devices and screens at night is ideal. But blue light in the morning starts your circadian rhythm and blocks the melatonin that's ideal. So looking at the sun or potentially looking at these blue light devices that you can buy. I have Philips Go Light, and I have a human charger device that I can use if it's dark out or if I'm traveling. those can actually get you going in the morning. But yes, red light, I have both a sunlight and sauna that has near and far infrared, and does have chromotherapy lights that can go through different colors of lights while I'm in there. And then I have a Juve light, and those are, the red light can reduce inflammation, improve growth hormone and testosterone response, so improve libido, improve collagen synthesis, all kinds of things that are healing in nature. So we're supposed to get all these different wavelengths, and we're just not getting them.
Yes.
If you're outside, you are getting these things. And obviously, we used to be outside a ton. And one of the other things that we're missing from not being outside, and almost everyone is deficient in, and if you're outside for 45 minutes or longer, you have to be below the line of Atlanta and be getting, I think that's only in the summer months in Atlanta for those 45 minutes that you would get enough sun to make enough vitamin D.
Right.
So basically 90% of the country is not getting enough. And then for those 4 months, and then the other 8 months, no one's getting enough. So we're just not getting enough sunshine, and we're not making enough vitamin D. And so it's definitely ideal to, one, get some of these other light therapies. One, just getting outside in the sunshine. Two, getting your red light. But three, also taking vitamin D3, 5,000 to 10,000 IUs a day.
Yes.
Ideally, take it with K2. I like the MK7 form of K2 in 50 to 100 micrograms a day.
Yes. Yeah, it's so funny you say all those things. And we were talking about sleep earlier. One of the benefits of getting outside, and I have told a lot of people here on Clubhouse who have asked me about sleep, get light at different points in the day. So you're telling your brain when it's morning, when it's midday, when it's evening, so that it naturally will fall asleep and do all the sleep hygiene that helps you fall asleep and stay asleep.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, and I love my Juve light. I get in front of that thing, and you talk about energizing yourself. I started doing kind of short sessions, like 5 to 10 minutes. Lately, it's been like 20 to 30 minutes, and I just kind of like soak it all in. I get completely naked in front of it. It's a full body one, and it just, nothing beats that. And of course, people look at something like that and go, yeah, that looks a little quacky. But guys, look up photobiomodulation. It is a thing. And as Shawn eloquently said, it's going to be a big thing here very soon. So understand it, learn about it. We're talking about leveling up your keto diet. It's more than just what you put in your mouth, which is why I wanted to bring Shawn on here today. We're going to reset the room again, you guys. Keto for the Soul is the name of the room you are in. Click on that little green box at the top and subscribe. Got a lot of great people in the room who moderate different panels and things. My thing is, I'm a podcaster. I interview people. I know lots of people like Shawn Wells. So that's what I do here on Keto for the Soul. But thank you guys for being here. Go ahead and click on the hand button if you want to ask a question. Would love to bring you up here in just a moment. I do want to get into a few more of the biohacks that are kind of the basics. What comes top of mind next?
What comes to mind next?
Yes. Yes.
Well, there's cold plunges and
yes,
hot showers.
Let's do that. Let's camp out there.
So, yeah, there's temperature related hacks that you can do because we're so controlled thermically in our life. We're too comfortable. We are not as hard to kill as we used to be. We are less resilient now. And there's a term called allostatic load. It's the stress bucket that we have in our body, and it says how resilient we are. And right now, most of us have a very small stress bucket, and that's our capacity to deal with stress. And when you do positive stressors, also known as EU stressors, it's a hormetic stress, and that hormetic stress means it makes that bucket bigger.
Yes.
And so when you do things like jump in the cold water or take cold showers, that's one thing, and that actually increases cold thermogenesis. It burns calories, it upregulates brown adipose tissue, which is a fat burning fat that's on your body. You only have about 6 ounces of it on your body, and it's around your clavicle mostly. And that burns calories, and it increases GH and testosterone and all kinds of things, and improves healing. And same on the opposite side when you do like a hot sauna, that they've shown that again increased testosterone, increased IGF-1, increased growth hormone, increased healing, and again increased caloric expenditure, because your body's trying to normalize its temperature, and it's doing that through sweating and a number of mechanisms. So you have this contrast, if you will, if you do both. It's
Yes.
called contrasting therapy, because then that's an even greater delta, even a greater change between the temperatures, right? So you're going from hot to cold, and then you can even go back and forth some more.
Yes.
And if you look at Ray Cronise, NASA astronaut, his therapy that he recommends is you go back and forth in the shower several
Yes.
times, about 10 times, going hot to cold, hot to cold, hot to cold, hot to cold, hot to cold. And you can increase your resiliency that way. And then you're not as easy to kill. You're not as thermically controlled, like where we're just living 68 to 72 degrees all day, every day. We were meant to deal with extremes. We were meant to be dehydrated at times. We were meant to go without food at times. We were meant to go and get very cold at times, get very hot at times. We were meant to deal with these stressors that we no longer have anymore. We're too comfortable, and we're therefore much easier to kill and no longer have our stress bucket to tap into.
And Americans think this is weird, but I went to Italy 2 years ago, Shawn, and we got to go to one of these kind of high-end spas. And in the spa, they had an area that was a shower area where you could have very cold water blowing on you, and you stayed under that for an obligate amount of time, 5 to 10 minutes. Then you had a warmer that you kind of started to warm up. Then you had a even warmer than that, kind of pseudo hot but not scalding hot. This is a thing, you guys. Like, it's not like it's something that's just made up. I know it's different for American culture, for us to understand. But yeah, dude, I do ice baths. I've got out in my freezer out on the front porch, bags of ice, 20-pound bags of ice I got from Sam's Club. And I'll just dump it in some water in my bathtub. And I will get down, and it's key to get the vagus nerve underneath the water, so you get a lot of the benefits of that.
Exactly.
And then I also have an infrared sauna that I'll go in right after that, like you were talking about. Do those extremes, and the cool thing, Shawn, is when you test your blood sugar while you're in the midst of doing this, it's like it just like normalizes it so much.
Yeah, and there's even something called a dive reflex, like when you get your head under, there's even more benefits. But
Yes.
yeah, it's like you said, at least getting the vagus nerve underneath, like up to your head, is ideal. But if you can get your whole head under, that's even better. But yeah, it's interesting. Most people think that it's going to just increase sympathetic nervous system, meaning like,
Right. Stress you out.
it's going to feel like a jolt to your system, and it does at first. But like within about a minute, it's amazing. Like I've done this in Iceland, jumping in some of these icy lakes. Like within about a minute, your whole body warms up and brings heat.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
And you feel relaxed. Your parasympathetic system actually takes over, and you actually feel like a sense of calm come in, and your whole body just slows down and relaxes. And now when I jump in the cold, I actually feel very relaxed, because for me it's no longer the stressor mentally it used to be. I did this most recently at a biohacking retreat. I jumped in and I was talking to a guy while I was in this ice bath for like 15 or 20 minutes, like because I was just talking to him and I forgot that I was in there. And then the next guy jumped in, and the whole time he was like and like screaming and like yelling and rocking back and forth, and this was like a tough, muscular, bearded guy that could throw around weights, and you think like, wow, this, like it threw me off.